$77 billion. That's what's at stake this legislative session as lawmakers gather in Tallahassee. And here to discuss the 2015 session and where he hopes to direct some of that large sum of money is this hour's newsmaker, District 36 State Senator Oscar Braynon, representing parts of Broward and Miami-Dade counties. Welcome, Senator. Good to have you on Newsmakers.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you.
We're in Tallahassee, and you'll be soon assuming a larger role. You're recently elected as future president of the Florida Senate's Minority Coalition.
Yes. I'll be the incoming minority leader. Yes.
So what does that entail? You being in a higher profile, you've been in the Senate for a while, you add on some extra responsibilities, move to the front of the room?
Well, the good part is I'm leading what I believe to be a very together coalition of the Democrats in the House, in the Senate, excuse me. And we're hoping to put forth what we believe is democratic principles and make sure Florida works better, more efficiently, and all of those things. And the good part is, in the Senate, we don't have a super minority. We're not the super minority as they are in the House. And also in the Senate, we don't play as much partisan politics as I think they do in the House.
Yeah, you used to be a House member, so you know both sides of this. Yeah. One of the things that they're discussing that demands attention this year is Medicaid expansion.
Yes.
Members of the Senate, on a bipartisan basis, have voted to expand Medicaid in the state of Florida. Your colleagues in the state House, however, have not, and there's a lot of money at stake through the federal government. Is this the year that maybe both the state House and the Senate will agree on Medicaid expansion?
I believe this is the year. I think we're moving forward towards that. You know, when you see that the Senate has come to a conclusion, what I would call a compromise, the business community has joined in. They've come with their compromise. Even the governor has weighed in and said he's not opposed. So I think now most parties involved want to make this happen, and I understand the money that's at stake. And as we move forward and we talk about phasing out LIPP funding, whether that's solved or not this session, I think it still requires us to figure out what we're going to do with the health care for Floridians here in Florida.
Yeah, LIPP, low-income pool funding. This is money that the federal government provides hospitals to take care of the less fortunate, the indigent, and that right now is in question. The federal government has told Florida it needs to rework its system in order to keep receiving that. A lot of hospitals are worried they won't get this money.
Well, you know, one of the reasons the federal government is asking is because they expect the state to expand Medicaid to take care of those people. And if you expand Medicaid, then you don't need the LIPP fund. So which is why the federal government is phasing out the LIPP funding. So I guess it's kind of, you put that pressure on a pipe and all of a sudden the water shoots out. So kind of there's pressure being put on us that we have to find a solution to this. And I think that's one of the things that's pushing us in the direction to solve this.
Among other things, Senator Braynon, you're working on this year in the legislature is a bill to protect students' personal information. Why is this a big issue for you?
Well, I think that when a student is out, and whether it be a student or even those that get caught up in the juvenile justice system, many times we talk about their records being sealed. Well, we don't want people to go in and make a mockery of that, maybe sell those for informational purposes as they get older. So we think that it's important that we protect those records and make sure that those children are protected.
Also, you have a major interest in what happens in your district because it happens to be home to Sun Life Stadium, home of the Miami Dolphins, and home of prior Super Bowls. There's, for those who don't know, in South Florida, a major project that has just started to renovate that stadium to try and upgrade it with the goal eventually being future Super Bowls. We haven't had one in South Florida for, 5 years now, and none in the future. Do you think that will be the result once they get the stadium renovations done?
Phil, I'm very confident that once we get these renovations, we'll get more Super Bowls, and not just more Super Bowls, but more major events. You know, the more events you have there, the more opportunity for people to have jobs there, people in my district. I talk about the people who live right in the Lake Lucerne community that walk right around the corner and go to work. When the Marlins were based there, they would work every other day during the summer. And, these are jobs for hardworking people. It gives them an opportunity. And I think the more events we have there, the better off we are. And I commend our owner for deciding to go ahead and fund the renovations by himself right now. And I think that what's happening here at the state, which is the sales tax rebate, is what all the other franchises are receiving already. So he's only asking for what other people are already receiving.
Right. There's always a debate as to how much the state wants to provide stadium renovation projects in the form of sales tax rebates. That's something that kind of got shot down a couple of years ago. And that's been a controversial issue up here.
And now, while the way, I think the formula that we used then was not something that passed last year, we passed a bill that created a formula for all sports franchise. And the Miami Dolphins and Sun Life Stadium applied and are going through the process now, just like the Daytona Speedway, the Orlando's new soccer franchise. All of them are going through that process. And so everybody's treated equally. They're businesses, just like any other business in Florida. They're a little more high profile, which in some ways is a good thing for us here in Florida.
Well, good luck. Lots on your table and on your agenda this year for the Florida legislative session. Senator Oscar Braynon, thank you very much for being our newsmaker this hour.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you.
And from Tallahassee, we thank you for watching. I'm Phil Latzman.